here's why I got pissed off with the ending. At the end of Boruto, I would have been a Boruto warrior, basically arguing with a bunch of people, breaking down Boruto, basically saying how Boruto is better than this, and especially with Naruto. Oh my goodness, villains wise, oh my Naruto Part One, in my personal opinion, Boruto is still better, but the ending kind of like dampens a lot of the arguments because the ending wasn't executed to perfection as it should have been. In my personal opinion, if they would have completely animated the rest of the manga, Boruto would have been a very good story. Part one, a very, very good story. They had multiple very good fights. The whole plot was it? I forgot what it's called, but like the clip, not the cliffhanger, but like when the plot thickens. I forgot what it's called, but like the whole omnipotent event wasn't in the anime, and I think that right there was the biggest part of part one. It just wasn't there, so I can't necessarily argue for that point being like plot wise, Boruto is significantly deeper than a lot of the other anime. You just can't argue that because it wasn't in the anime, and I think that's just a bummer. That's just a bummer. That right there would have taken the reputation of the anime significantly higher.
Bro, they
And
had 5 years to give us some great fights. Like if you're relying on the manga to give us the peak fights that we need, then like what the hell is the point of giving us these anime canon episodes? Just might as well just adapt the manga straight through
well,
and go on
that's another
seasonal
thing.
like everybody says.
That's another thing that I feel like the Boruto anime has gotten like unfair flack. The anime canon isn't that far from a lot of the other series' actual canon, like in my personal opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, in regards to like the actual hardcore stuff, obviously it has nothing to do with Otsutsuki members, has nothing to do with the Kata organization. But regular anime doesn't really have all their arcs geared to the overall plot. Like even Naruto Part One, there was a bunch of stuff. People talk about the what's it called? The Land of Waves arc that had absolutely nothing to do with the Otsutsuki clan. Like a bunch of arcs don't really have that much to do with the core plot, but it's magnified more with Boruto because Naruto had that reputation of a bunch of filler, so we don't really care about this, so we're not going to watch it. So Boruto was already working behind the eight ball. And I feel like that right there kind of carried over to the overall view of the series, even though I don't think it's really that bad.
I this might be kind of a hot take.
Mm.
So even for me, bro. So yeah, just don't at me, okay? Perhaps, okay, maybe, potentially, okay. The filler arcs are probably better than the the canon material from a writing standpoint. Okay.
I have to disagree with that. I gotta disagree with that.
And I'll give like maybe a slight justification for this.
Mm.
So um a lot of the times in the filler arcs, they'll like introduce like a villain. And those villains, they don't reach the same heights as like a Pain or Obito or whatever. But in terms of the writing, right, like the beginning, middle, and end, like it's consistent. Like it's kind of there for a lot of these antagonists and villains. They have like motivations. There's emotional moments you kind of feel for them. Like that guy. I forgot the latest Mist Village arc where it's like sister gets killed and then Boruto has to kind of explore the cycle of hatred. Like that shit works. That's really good writing right there. But a lot of people miss it because it's a quote unquote filler arc. And there's like themes in that particular arc that you don't even explore in the canon material. Like there's depth there. Like Boruto kills a guy, but then that guy has a child, and then the child confronts Boruto. And then Boruto has to wrestle with his decisions out here. Like, hey, it's not when I kill a man, it's just not that man, it's that man's family and that man's potential that I'm taking out. Right. And he has that conversation with his father about the cycle of hatred when he comes back. And then one of his friends dies and he has to wrestle with getting revenge or justice, or what's the difference between the two, and trying to control his emotions. And is he justified in doing this? And is the kid justified in getting his revenge? And then it breeds that cycle. That shit's not touched on in the canon. And that's some deep shit. So I think stuff like that is really impactful. So it might be a bit of a hot take, admittedly, sure, but yeah, that's just one example. But yeah, I'll let you guys go.
No, I agree with what you're talking about in regards to that point. And me and you kind of view a little differently. I don't necessarily put that much value in that kind of writing. I put a lot of value in basically a lot of action, how the action is actually portrayed, and of course the cadence and the actual rhythm of the episode. Like for example, in regards to a lot of the canon stuff, like they're four. Matter of fact, I'll start with the anime canon first. The anime canon will have 5 episodes of slice of life, and at 6th episode, all the stuff goes down. All the stuff goes down, and I hate that because a lot of that stuff in the 6th episode is very good, but
Yeah,
from episode 1 through 5, people fall asleep and stop watching the episodes, so they never really get to
facts.
episode 6 to enjoy the actual good stuff. With the anime canon, they are forced to actually put the action in between a lot of the slice of life stuff because that's how it's written out in the manga. And because of that, I like that. I like the actual canon stuff a lot better. But like either way, I definitely agree with you. There are some good stuff in the anime canons that just aren't never really seen. And it wasn't just that. I mean, like the Byakuya gang arc, that right there was like another one of those things that you, or the Mujina Bandits arc, not necessarily the Byakuya gang arc, where it's like the virtuous thieves. They were kind of like stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, and there was like a whole back and forth. And is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Stuff like that never really get the shine because, of course, it's anime canon. No one really cares about it. It has nothing to do with the Kata organization, even though there is significant character development from
Right.
multiple characters' parts. Like no one really cares, and people would have cared if it wasn't necessarily for the reputation that Naruto had, because people cared about the Land of Waves back in Naruto Part 1, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, you even like one of these latest arcs where you have Boruto getting trapped in this like virtual reality um type of simulation by like an inner Kara member, and you kind of get like some very intriguing things there, and then stuff like that's really relevant when you start to see like Apple come out with this like new virtual reality device that they came out with. I can't quite remember the name, but there's conversations about AGI, artificial general intelligence, and all this stuff. Like those themes in the series kind of parallel in real life themes, and you can kind of go back to like the Pain Invasion arc, where themes in that particular arc kind of parallel real life themes, with like 9/11, the stone Hokage Mount monument with the faces, that being Mount Rushmore. Um, a greater superpower going to a smaller country and then radicalizing them. That's Nagato in his particular land. I think your mic might be staticky for you. I'm not sure.
You said my mic might be staticky.
Yeah, I just heard a little interference there. But yeah, like the whole stuff with the Pain Invasion arc and Nagato getting radicalized and him wanting to destroy America, or quote unquote Konoha. So like those parallels are just brilliant, and Kishimoto's a genius for those. And I see some of those things sprinkled in the non-canon material, but that's not to suggest that the non-canon material is not good. Never made that claim. But I do think in terms of writing, from a writing standpoint, and complete character arcs, and just depth and weight, I think some of the non-canon stuff is really impactful if you give them a chance. And it's the non-canon stuff that really flipped me in a more positive direction with the Boruto series at large, because before I was just clowning on the series, trashing it. I would make my theories or whatever, but I was more pessimistic about it. But when I actually took the time to look at some of that stuff, and I realized, okay, well, there's something here. I think that's really where I was more like glass half full rather than glass half empty with the series. But yeah.